Welcome back to my channel. I'm MF the Artist. Now, I've been away for a long time, but I've been active on my other channel, which is a sports channel, it's a boxing channel. If you're interested in boxing at all, you might be, I'll link it in the description box below. But real quick, to get it out of the way, you saw the thumbnail, CGC and this new 9.9. It's kind of odd at the timing of this. Now, before I get into that, if you're new here or if you're an older subscriber from way back, and who knows if you're still here, we're gonna change things up a bit. I didn't know what to do with this channel, and what I realized is that doing art pieces takes a long time, and I am a family man, working man, things like that, and it takes a long time. I'm still gonna do that. I'm still gonna update my art and my creations and things like that, and the processes, and I'm still doing that in the background. But I also like just comic books and comic book news and things like that, and art and sales and all this other stuff. It's just interesting to follow and to kind of like tag along. And I mean, I have heavy opinions on comic books. Some of them you might agree with, some of them you might not, whether it's your creator, grading systems, things like that, and what do they mean for the hobbies in general. But anyway, now that you know all of that, I will be posting. I'm gonna try to stay on once a week, maybe Fridays. You'll see it. I'll premiere it way ahead of time so you kind of see it, and I will try to create a backlog, so if I ever like fall behind, it'll still be there. And I'll try to catch up as much as possible. I'm gonna really try to do this, and if you have any stories, anything you want to actually me to cover, also just comment down below. I love to talk to people in the comment section. I do that every time in my other channel. I stay engaged. But anyway, real quick, you saw the thumbnail. CGC, is it a scam? Well, you know that PSA has its own grading system, and there's people with a lot of opinions on that, and they have gotten rid of, I think, the 9.9s and things like that, and they're gonna go straight to a 10. And what's that important? Well, because that news just broke, kind of, within the next couple weeks, and all of a sudden you have a 9.9 of a book that's been submitted over almost 20,000 times. It never got a 9.9. All of a sudden, a 9.9 shows up, and it's like it's sparking up news everywhere. And shout out to Struggle House, because that's where I first saw it. And we're gonna take a quick look at it here. So here it is at the auction. It's already at the auction. Now, I've heard a lot of things. Now, guys, I'm new to a lot of this stuff, and I'm new on how to cover this stuff too. So I'm gonna make mistakes along the way, and I'm gonna get acquainted with new things that you're gonna say, well, damn, you know about this? This is like 10 years old. Relax. I've been out of comics in and out for a long time. I was a heavy comic book enthusiast throughout the 90s and early 2000s, and after that, I was in and out, dipping in and out. So a lot of things that are old to you might be new to me. So just bear with me as I also am becoming a student of this whole situation. Now, Comic Link is an auction house, but also I believe that they submit their own comic books in for grading and things like that. And it's a lot of controversy in of it itself with that situation, right? Because if an auction house can submit their own stuff, and that's what I've heard, comment in the comments down below, then how do you know it's legit, right? And I've always thought about grading as a bubble, kind of like reptile breeding, right? Or dog breeding, right? Especially like in the exotic markets, right? Like ball pythons and American bullies. All these things are only important to the breeders. Like, you will never really find a casual buying a snake for $45,000. Only another breeder who thinks that that's worth that, because they want to make something with that, will pay $40,000. So the community sustains the community. It's not something outside. It's a bubble, and the bubbles are subject to burst. Same thing with comic book collecting. For the sole purpose of profit, they have become the new bonds of the world. Before you used to have stocks and bonds. Now you have, like, instead of paper bonds, you have comic books. People are buying them literally for what they're worth, not the content they're in. You have new players coming in, seen as an opportunity, who have nothing to do with comic books. They couldn't care less about a first appearance, a actual canon event, nothing. They don't give a damn. It was like, what's the number on the CGC scale, rating scale, and is it a key, and how much can I get for it? And they trading and raising values low. I mean, there's books that have depreciated from a year ago from thousands and thousands of dollars, lost 90% of their value, because it's a bubble, folks. It's, for me, my opinion, it's just a bubble. Now, do I believe in encapsulation and preservation? Yes, I do. And I think there's a space in here where this might be something great for people to do with comic books. You have to kind of like protect them. There's a lot of, especially like the old, comic books, like, Action Comics #1, Batman #1, things like that. First appearance of Wolverine, Incredible Hulk. Those things have to be preserved. And also for the modern comics, like, eventually there'll be no Spawn #1 somewhere, right? So preserve that, right? But again, my problem with CGC has always been, in any grading entity, is How? What are your guidelines? What do you have? Let me see how you do. Is it 1 tick, 2 ticks, 3 ticks, 4? How many before? You know, like, I don't mean if that's rhyme, but you know, how does the incremental go from a 9.0 to a 9.1? What is the difference between a 9.0 and a 9.1? Is it because it's a specific criteria, or is it goes greater to greater? How does it go from a 9.0 to a 9.2 and not a 9.1? What is the difference between a 9.0 and a 9.1 and a 9.2 and a 9.3 and a 9.4? I can tell you there's nothing. It's absolutely sometimes nothing, right? Okay, you know, so a 9.8 and a 9.9, what are the differences? A 10 and a 9.9, what is the difference? That's where I get concerned, right? There should be publicly available criteria. We judge on this. We use this technology, this sort of color reader, and we use, you know, if you have one spine tick at the bottom corner over a number, over this, it's a break. Okay, it breaks color. It doesn't break color. So if it doesn't break color, it's not a damage to the book. It says imperfection, right? So we count 2 imperfections equal one colorless tick, right? I mean, something has to, you have to give your graders too something to really stick by, right? And also the collector. This is like, you know, so they can better know how to submit books, and then just blindly submitting books. And I've seen many videos I've seen where people, like, they hide the number and they go, what? Like, some people have even cracked open their case, resent the book, and got a lower grade, right? Wild. Because it defeats the purpose. I think it's becoming a money grab. People are chasing the number for CGC and no longer care about the comic books in and of themselves. And CGC is seeing an opportunity in that, in my opinion. Again, do I like the concept? Absolutely, I do. Right? So with that soapbox, here it is. Ultimate Fallout number 4, 9.9. Right? Single highest graded. Auction begins soon. First appearance of Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man. Starts at $1. This will be crazy to see how it ends, right? Okay, here goes. Here goes. Marvel Comics, white pages, highest grade, single highest graded. Auction starts August 15th. So we have clear over a month. Offer here is an extremely rarity, a single highest rated example of the ultra popular 2011 issue featuring the first appearance of the new Spider-Man Miles Morales, graded mint 9.9 by CGC. This is one of one in the 9.9 out of 19,000, like over 19,000 examples of this issue submitted to CGC. Wow. Also, it was the only issue a few days from ago. It was the 7th of July that it was submitted and graded, or graded at least. And it is now, as of this video, when you're watching it, it's the 10th of July, right? So in a few days pass in between. The only book that was submitted. So they knew that, and that's what is crazy. They submitted one book and they got lucky with a 9.9. It could happen, unless maybe there's some hoodwinking going on, right? Again, now you saw the thumbnail, and in and around here, and actually it looks like up here somewhere also there's another imperfection. But now that we know that, let's go and take a look at something real quick. So here is 9.9 newsstand, and here's what they got to say about it, right? Years ago, I began asking what the heck are the 9.9s out of UF4. I've discussed and questioned it in reels and live streams. The answer was so disappointing. Nothing short of a complete mistreatment of grades and unfair grading practices. Today we have our first 9.9 of this book. By no means is it an ugly book, but it's not the prettiest either. This was a single book submission. Congratulations to the submitter. I don't know who the submitter was, but it is already listed for sale on Comic Link. They knew 9.9 would put it up there. Get the hype on. Bidding will start soon. What do you think this means going forward? Will this be the standard by which they are graded? Yada yada yada. So here it is, right? The first, check it out, right? Same as the auction pictures. Boom! Right there. There's a spine tick, and what it looks like right above it is an even bigger one. They missed the bigger one. That's right there. It's literally it's right there. It's right above, like the 3 barcodes. So after the 4, go up 1, 2, after the big thick one, go 3 to the top third. In between the white and the top third, there's a huge spine tick. So there's 2 right there. Now hold on one second. Okay, so I own one CGC graded book. Now, I bought it because I was like, I want to see what the heck is about owning a graded slab book, but I don't want to pay head over heels. What's a good example of something I like? I like something that's in the children. I saw an 8th printing for 30-something bucks. I said, hey, not too bad. Just for me to get my feet wet. I want to see what it's about. I don't want to pay over, the moon over something, like, especially if I don't like the whole situation. So I did. So I got a 9.8, right? Hold on one second. Take it out. Ladies and gentlemen, this 9.8 has not a tick on it on the spine. Not one. Corners are sharp. Dog, stuff like that's kind of dirty. The slab, I've been throwing around. 8th printing, first appearance of Erica Slaughter. Okay. But here it is. White pages. Says so right there, white pages. Hold on, let me switch real quick. I can't really get it into focus because my camera sucks. But not a spine tick to be found. Not on the front, not on the back. Now the case, like I said, I've thrown it around a couple times, so it's not the greatest case. But we're not judging the case. This is a 9.8. Not a spine tick anywhere to be found. Not a spine tick, right? I like this. Listen, if I ever do a book ever, I'm gonna do this, whether it's with PSA or with CGC, because I want to preserve it just as a memento for myself, and because sometimes things just go and get messed up, and maybe my kids might want to have something to look at, and I'll submit a few and see what I get. But that's a 9.8. Why was that not a 9.9? White pages, not a tick in sight. Yet we come here and there's ticks and it's a 9.9. And the whole thing with PSA coming out the gate with whatever they have, the product they have, CGC must be feeling something. They said, well, let's take the momentum out of their wings, right? Let's take the air out from under their wings a little bit. But look what some people are saying. My biggest issue here is that this book was given 9.9 when it obviously has the same slight imperfections that many 9.8s have, but that by singling out a single book, especially one that doesn't quite stand out above the rest, you disenfranchise and diminish to collectability all of those who have 9.8s that likely have a book equal as nice. To me, the 9.8 grade will always be the standard of excellence. This simply is not good for the hobby. Disheartening to collectors, myself included. CGC handed out these 9.9s to satisfy the market demands, and the questioning of their grading practices is literally degrading the decades of work and reputation of their graders. Not a good look. You either hold your ground on standards or you tear it down and start over. With GSX X1 UF4 and countless Wolverine 1s, they are clearly choosing the latter to encourage resubmissions and revenue behind it in their company reputation. That's another good look, another good situation, right? Are they doing this? Well, if that one got a 9.9, I'm gonna resubmit this Wolverine number 1. That's a 9.8 with no imperfections that I can clearly see, with a letter stating UF4 has a 9.9 rating and it has these imperfections. My 9.8 has 0 of those imperfections and also white pages. I want a resubmission, but it's also not for free. They're gonna get charged, right? Now they're gonna have to move up the grade because there's no clear grading guideline. You have to have a clear guideline. Clear to understand. 10 ticks and it's a 1. I don't know, I'm just saying, right? 10 ticks and it's a 1, don't bother sending it in. 5 ticks, you're at 8, right? 3 ticks, you're at 9. 1 unbroken color tick, you're at 9.8. No ticks, no tears, white pages, no creases, staples is right, color smells like bootylicious. 10, right? But it has to have a clear guideline, and there are none. And this is why this is a bubble, and only people that are in the community care about it. That's it. No one else, and it's only inviting rich ex-paper bonds traders to come in and say, well, I have enough money to buy that 9.9. Or I have enough money to resubmit all these 9.8s. I'm going to buy a 9.8 collection of nothing but keys. Wolverine First Appearance, Amazing Fantasy, whatever, that are 9.8s. With no ticks, and I'm gonna resubmit it because I got the money, and I'm gonna write, and I'm gonna use my influence. I'm gonna tell them where I'm from. I'm gonna use my influence and say, I have 15 9.8 books. This is $30,000 worth of regrading. I'm looking for the 9.9 and 10 because these are better examples than that 9.9. What is CGC gonna do? They're banking on people not having enough funds to flood their offices that way. That's what I think. My opinion, not fact. I didn't hear that from anybody. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? Do you think that, like me, grading, instead of becoming a conservation tool, is becoming just paper bonds from back in the day, and it's all in a bubble, and bubbles burst, guys? I'm trying to tell you, bubbles burst. Housing markets burst. Stock market can crash. And anything that's based in the bubble will burst. It will never last forever. Some books will hold. A lot of them won't. Anyway, again, every Friday, I'm going to upload from here on out, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? What do you think? Is it a bubble? Is it not a bubble? Is it bad for business? Is PSA going to take over? Is PSA the next wave? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video, and I'm out. Peace.